Hey, welcome back to Logic Bombs. We'll begin in the middle of row 2 this time. Okay, so we can either have these corner bombs attack this row up here or the row on the bottom. Column or bottom, basically. With that in mind, are there any other... Hmm. Yeah, all these bombs can attack others. There's no, obvious, this bomb has to get that guy kind of behaviors here. There are two zones, which is interesting. I think the zones will be either locked up with these sixes vertically or horizontally with these sixes. Hmm. Okay, are there any super obvious Picross rules? I don't think so. With all of that, okay, we know that this top row cannot have this guy get all three of these cats. Because if we do that, there's not enough left over, none enough walls left over to fill in and finish this Picross rule. So we know that at least this one has to be blocked off from the three. Probably a wall in here somewhere, which means that if that's the case, then this three has to attack this one. Yeah, and the same is true for this. This guy has to go here, which is actually a really big step towards solving. Wow. With that, there's one empty spot in there somewhere. We'll figure that out later. And we know that this has to be blocked off like that because he can't be attacking any of those cats. With that, what do we know next? Yeah, where does that get us? um, I'm getting the vibes that this is a symmetrical puzzle, which is nice. That's always a good thing to see. If I had to guess, we're gonna block it off like that or something, but obviously not exactly like that. We'll have to see what it actually is. Um, that does mean that all of these bombs have to go towards these cats, which is another big step towards solving. And it doesn't really matter how these cats interact at this point, which is nice. We also know that this has to be a wall here and a wall here to stop these cats from going, and at least one of these has to be a wall. There has to be at least one wall in here, which means that these are all air over here, which then means that this is solved, which is nice. And then where does that get us from there? That gets us to only one more in here somewhere. Oh, this is solved because there's only 6 spots left, so they're all walls. That solves those. This is looking very symmetrical right now. I can't imagine this not being symmetrical as a solution. All of these are solved, and all of these are solved. What's next? Oh, this is solved. Nice. And then what does that leave us with? Looking. There's one in here somewhere. That's not super helpful though. We already have the two zones blocked off, so we can't have any in these 3 spots. These all have to be air to allow access, which means that the last one for the 6 is here and here, and the last one for the 4 is there and there. Those are all air. Tremendous. That wasn't so bad. Next up. Hmm. Hmm. It still looks just looking at this, I don't see any cats that have to be taken out by a certain bomb, which is a nice, easy way to get into a puzzle. But in this case, that's not going to be very helpful. Um, the one here has to be either here or here to stop this one bomb from attacking either cat. So we know that these two have to be taken out by this bomb, or these have to be air, therefore they're taken out by that bomb, which means the wall goes there and this takes out that one, which means that this is a wall, that takes out him, that takes out that. And that's progress. There has to be a wall here as well to stop this bomb from getting that guy. Is there a similar rule anywhere we can take advantage of? I don't see one yet. Oh, what am I doing? This one has to be... Oh, wait, no. Yeah, that makes sense. This is also air because there has to be a wall here to stop this bomb from getting that guy. Moving on, this bomb has to get these two because there's no other bomb that can get this cat right now, which blocks it from getting this guy and this guy. Then... Oh, that's not right. That can't be right because this guy needs to be able to get 4 different dudes. Oh, wait, no, I don't know why I assumed that. I see what I did. I assumed that this guy had to get that guy, but that's just simply not true. Though this one over here is true. Okay. Okay, there's only one wall here. Then at most... That does mean that we're probably going to get at least what we have to get at least one of these guys on the side, which is already true. I don't know why I had made a special rule of that. Only one zone I just noticed, which is nice. Should have checked that initially. And thus the progress slows. Okay, well we know this has to be a wall here because he can't get him. If he gets him, that'll be a wall there as well. Where are the ones? That's not helpful. That's vaguely helpful, I guess. But oh, oops. But not right now. Oh, this is empty. That's very helpful. That's tremendously helpful. That blocks off that. And then therefore, this guy has to get these guys. That's a wall there. Doesn't really matter if there's a wall there or not. What else does this help us learn? This guy can be got by that guy or by the 2 or the 4. This one can be gotten by the 2 or the 4. Are there any that can only... This one can only be gotten by the 4. So we know for a fact that that is one of the guys he gets. No matter what, we have to go this direction some amount. So we also know that for sure. Because even if we get this guy, and that guy, we have to extend to the right anyway. An eyesight rule of sorts. So... Let's move on to... Can we learn anything else about what has to happen here? He very easily could get both of these, and then the wall is somewhere else. Oh, this guy can also only get gotten by the 1 here, right? Yeah, so that's a wall there, and then this one has to be gotten by that guy, by this 4. And then the 2 has to get this cat up here, which means that the 2 gets both of them, leaving the 4 down here. Okay, that is tremendous progress. Moving on, we mark all of these as empty. Are there any other solved rows? I don't think so. How are the 6 rows looking? Not helpful. Not helpful. No, it's not 1 zone. There's 3 zones. Oh, no. But that's fine. We've already made it this far without having to worry about that. How do you block off this guy here? Ooh, that's a fun question. Because we need to block him off entirely. I guess we have to mark this and this eventually to block them off. But I don't feel confident enough in that to do it yet. There's a wall here. Let's check out the bombs. There has to be a wall somewhere in here, which we basically already knew because of 3. This one has to have a wall somewhere in there, but that's not that surprising given it's a 2. This one has to have a wall somewhere in there, which is not terribly helpful. This one doesn't matter what's there. This one, yeah, I don't see any further help that can give us. Okay. Oh, what do we do next? Let's look at zoning. We need to block this guy off from this guy in particular. There's no easy way to do that. Besides arguably blocking him off like that, putting one there, and then like maybe putting one there and there to like block all of this off. Yeah, just fully enclosing him. But I don't feel confident enough in doing that yet to actually do it or to know exactly where the blocks are going to be. There's got to be another rule somewhere I can take advantage of. Not another rule, but there's a wall there because of the 2 bomb. That's the one I missed. Does that unlock this whole thing? No, it doesn't look it. Not really. Three of these will be walls. And only one of these will be a wall. Ooh, curious. Okay. We've established that only one of these is a wall. It's probably here with the 6, but again, you just never know. Oh, this is solved. Oops, and that's solved. Oh, that's the breakthrough we needed. Correction, it is not. Let's move on to anything that is worth in this 2 row. Just figure out where one motor's placed. We got this one solved. I feel like in order to block all that off entirely, you have to block off this square, this square. Yeah, look, if you don't block off this one, and this one, and this one, these 2 become connected by default because you can travel through the monsters up to it. So we're going to have to mark off those squares. Then with that knowledge, we have to block it off further somewhere. We can't block it off there because the mine gets in the leaves a workaround. So we have to block off like around here somewhere. And I think literally the only way to block it off we'll go with that for now. If that's wrong, then we'll correct it later. Classic foolish belief of mine. Yep, that's all looking like one zone to me. Then we have to block off, if I had to guess, it's yeah, that's arbitrary. Let's try something else. Oh, this has to be here no matter what. Yeah, how do we block off this and that at the same time? Oh, well, now we know. Boom, 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 boom. For sure there. Oh no, what's the incorrect thing? Ugh, I got cocky. There's an extra block here. That's the problem. We remove the extra block, then there's... How many walls do I have wrong? Fewer than 3. Which is good. Are there any other obvious... If I put this down, so... What else is wrong if I have too many here? Correct, correct, incorrect, correct, 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 correct. One too many up here as well. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Oh, we unlocked the first level of row 3. Curious. We'll get to that one in due time. There's 6 spots and 5 blocks to fill. Same issue down here. Is this symmetrical? This is looking awfully symmetrical to me. It is not. There's the 8 over here. We have the zone, which means that these are all walls. I suspect the level will be all about making sure that these guys don't get stuck into their own little squares. We're going to have one empty airspace over here and one empty airspace over here to make sure the 8 doesn't block anything off. If we have a list here, for example, and like the 2 empties over here, that would block off this purple cat, the defeated foe. What's up with the mines? That seems, I guess, just to kill the monsters, because you can't really have monsters without mines, and vice versa. 3, 6. Do we have to make our own little mazes? Compartments of sorts? There's got to be a logical way to handle this. We know for a fact that these have to be empty. Just by the nature of the slime being there. At least one of these, at least this one or this one has to be empty, and at least this one or this one have to be empty, which doesn't get us far enough to a value that, like, for example, those have to be filled in, right? Oh, with that fact, we actually could fill this row up entirely. I should have noticed that immediately. That requires this one and this one to be open, which does the exact same thing here. I think this level is revealing itself rather quickly at this point. Yeah, that's true, and this has to be like that. That's true, and it has to be like that. Oh, wait, no, I am jumping to mighty conclusions with this one here. And then it could extend out, as we know it does, because the 3s are completely done. Same as true down here. And then this also has to be completely filled in. We know that for a fact. And then this is all empty, leaving these ones open, and these completely empty as well. That wasn't so bad. That was not so bad at all. Sorry, just scratching my nose here while we get to the next one. This is completely empty. Oh, oops. Oh, come on. This is completely empty, which reveals to us not that much, to be honest. We know for a fact that these 4 have to be handled by this 6, which is a good start. There has to be a wall somewhere in here, which is also true for here. There has to be a wall blocking off one of these, meaning that at least, well, if that's the case, and one of these has to be blocked off, then this guy has to be taken out by him, and then this has to be empty and taken out by the 1 bomb here, leaving the possibility of this guy or this guy taking out the bottom one here. Regardless, the wall has to go there, leaving this, leaving wall, leaving this, leaving empty space, and empty space there. What does that tell us about the next few steps? That means that this is solved as well. That means this is empty, which tells us this is completely filled, empty. What's next? What's the next solved portion? Here, that's the solved part. Empty. Nope, not yet. Empty. Now it's solved. And this one is also solved. So is that one. Empty, empty. Solved. Empty. Oh no. Okay, where's the excess one? 3 is correct, 1 is correct, 2 is correct. 5 is correct, 1 is correct, 1 is correct, 2 is correct, 1, 2, 3, 7 is correct. What's the problem here then? 3, 3, 5, 1, 7, 2. That is, there's 4 there. Now what's the problem? Did I just forget a spot or put the wrong thing somewhere? All the Picross rules look correct to me. Yeah, what's going on here? What's the rule that I broke? That guy gets 6, that guy gets... Ah! That's the problem. Perfect. The problem was that I had the 1 bomb exploding onto the other monster. Next up. Oh, okay, 1 zone, which is nice. We know that the 1 wall has to be around this monster, or around this bomb, because you can't get both of these. Which means this one does get both of them, and there's walls there. And this has to be empty air as well. What does that tell us? That tells us there's a wall there and a wall there, which then doesn't help us that much. But we know only one of these is air, which means that this is a wall for sure, because the 4, there's only 2 spots left, and we know that there's a wall. Oh, actually, do we? I guess these both could be air. Actually, no, one of them has to be air. Yeah, which means that the wall was one of these 2, making Ooh, curious. If one of these has to be air, then that means the wall has to be one of these, because you end up like that, for example, right? Which means that has to get that guy and puts walls there. I really hope that's right. Ooh, and that forces that guy to get that guy. This bomb to get this one, which forces wall and this, and empty air and wall. And then the only one that can get this monster now is this bomb, which puts up walls there. That's an empty space there. Which forces this to be the bomb that kills that monster. Which forces this to be the bomb that kills that monster. Which forces this to be the bomb that kills that monster. Forces that to kill that. And then Ooh, did I screw up? Where's the extra bomb? Oh, this bomb gets the same guy twice. Yeah, no, this guy, he has to get him, which means that's the one. Oh no, I think I screwed this one up. I'm gonna restart this one actually. I think I didn't do it right. Let's see. Okay, what I think we started with was correct. Has to be a wall here, so this two gets those guys. Which means that we know these bombs can't get him, and these bombs can't get that monster. With those bombs out of the running, we had to have put 4 walls here somewhere, so only one of these can actually attack someone. I guess theoretically, both of them could be attacking up instead, which honestly probably actually makes sense. Um, but then if we only one wall, how do you square that away? I guess actually not. You don't need to square that away at all. Actually, let's try somewhere else. See if we have any better luck. South. Oh, which by the way, we know that does that, which is nice. Yeah, we're having better luck south. Okay, tremendous. Nope, and nope, and those can't get them. So, ah, I see. I think this is how you're supposed to approach this one. Those ones have to get that one, which blocks off those. Classic. Also, they can't get those monsters, which then forces, based on the rule, that one has to go that way. That one has to go that way. That one has to go that way. That's filling the whole thing. And that one has to go that way. Completely empty. So it was all the walls here. That's good. Okay. So last time I assumed that one of them had to be open. I forget exactly why. I think I had a reason for that, but honestly I forget this time. Oops. Um, we know that is there. We know that's empty. The sixes do not help. At least not for now. I guess now we have to make sure that this little goober can get to everyone. Hmm. Hmm. I think these have to be filled because we can't really have pockets, right? Because the whole zone rule. Let's try that. Unless I am misinterpreting the rule, which is so tremendously possible. Um, I think that's how it works. What's next? What is next? Okay, let's do the math with this little guy. We can go all around here. In order to access this guy, I guess we should go up, and then up again, then up one more time. But there's no logical reason to think that has to be the case. Excuse me. Because we could block this off and have him go all the way around to get there. Oh, that can't be air. That has to be blocked off. Which means we have to go around the other way to get to all these guys. How do we do that? We block that off as well, which means we can go up. This has to be open, and those ones are filled. Huge. No, that's fine. I like the monster rules, not the zoning rules very much though, unfortunately. Probably just because I'm better at the monster rules. Though, hey, better's a relative term here. I'm still missing things all the time. Speaking of zoning, we got 6 zones here with 6 little slimes, making my life more difficult. The I am unsure where to start. Let's look at some rules first, I guess. These have to be air because we know that the walls be somewhere in here to stop double bombing or bombs hitting each other. We know, based on that, basically nothing. There's no way for this to get him. Which means that he's getting one of these two. There has to be a wall somewhere in here to stop the double bomb. Oh, oops. This guy has to get these two because they sure as heck can't get the slime here. Or they can't go up there to get the cat because the slime's in the way. Which then means the same exact thing is true for this guy with the slime there as well. From there, we begin to kind of get an idea of how this is going to shape up. We're going to have this mine and this slime hanging out in the same group. How do we stop them from hanging out? I guess we're going to do something like that eventually, but exactly when and how, I don't quite know. Notably, this is not symmetrical, which is annoying, but we'll live. Let's see. 3, 1, 2, 3. Well, we know this guy has to get these two because of these two are already taken, right? Which means because this guy can't get that guy, this bomb has to attack this cat here, blocking off that in the process. I guess that means this slime will be with this group over here, which is probably a good thing. This mine will be somewhere in here to help block off the entryway. I won't commit to anything there yet, though. I feel like there's other more obvious things to do first. Same exact thing happens here. You have to go there. You have to block off that. You have to go there and block off there, leading this to be completely solved, as is that column. What happens next? Next, we begin figuring out the zoning rules for these little slimy guys. But are there any more important things to do first? I don't really see any. I get the impression that Oh, if this is air, then these guys connect. So this one has to be a wall, which solves that whole row, which is nice. We need to have our wall extend up and around here or just through there to solve all that, which is also good to know. I feel like it's going to end up being something like this, like boom, 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 but I will not lock that in yet because I simply don't know when I'm talking. Uh, I'm simply spewing hot air here. Are there any other bomb rules that help us? Has to be a wall somewhere in here, so this is empty. I probably could have guessed that already. They're not going to interact. No interactions there. No interactions there. No interactions there. No meaningful interactions anywhere there. There also has to be a wall somewhere in here to block this guy from going through. So one of these walls will be here. And presumably one of them will also. I think at this point, hmm. We can't have two walls here blocking this off. And if we have two walls here, that doesn't really help anything because yeah, two walls here. If we can't have both, then the air gets through unless we have walls here. We had to have walls here, I think. I feel good about that, but not so good as to lock it in. Are any bombs gonna hit any slimes? I should have checked that like immediately. I don't see any bombs that are gonna hit any slimes. Hmm. It's not symmetrical enough to try to evaluate anything in that regard. As in, like, oh, I can do this, then that, for example, right? But that example that wasn't symmetrical. I just totally missed there. I guess we can use this one to help solve things. Though honestly, we'll need to know if any of these are guaranteed to be air, and then we've got this 5 row solved. That's not true. There's 6 left. I need to figure out if 2 of them are air. Okay, let's start mathing out. This has to be a wall because if this is air, then these connect. So that's a wall for sure. Is that true anywhere else? This has to be a wall because if that's not, then these two connect. So that's a wall. Is that true anywhere else? These connect if this is not a wall, so that has to be a wall. This is completely empty now. And that's completely. Oh no. I think that's what that looks like. Empty and completely empty there. Does that cause any more potential rule violations? They also can't connect here, so that's also confirmed to be a wall. Let's see, anything else? This also has to be a wall so that they don't connect there. That causes that to be air. This has to be a wall so they don't connect there. Where's the next possible connection? This also has to be a wall so they don't connect. These two don't connect. I'm pretty sure this is going to be a wall. I don't really see a way. I mean, I guess you could have that and that, but that seems tremendously inefficient. This is completely solved. Nice. That row, I mean. What's next? Can these guys connect in any way? No, that's probably a wall right there as well. It doesn't have to be, though. That could be empty air, I think, logically. If this is air, then these connect via the mine. Same is true there. These two have to be walls to stop that from happening. Um, if this is the wall, then these connect like that, which is also wrong. So we're going to go ahead and make that air to solve that rule. And then the wall either goes there or no, it has to go here to stop all three of these connecting, which makes that air. Then these guys are walls for sure. What else? This will be blocked off no matter what, so we're fine there. Oh, this is solved. Oops. That's air. This is also... No, it is not. Yes, okay. That makes this air, which makes that guaranteed to be a wall. Which makes this air, which makes that guaranteed to be a wall. Makes that air. That one was good. That was a good puzzle. This is empty. There's no way this goes all the way there. Which means that has to be air. The wall is somewhere in there. The same goes for that. 2 zones. 2 zones? Wait. Oh no. Wait, no. Oh yeah, if this is 2 zones, then we can't have that be air because they connect. This has to be a wall and that has to be a wall. I guess this has to be a wall too, but we'll find that out in short order, I guess. But that makes makes this bomb kill that monster and this bomb kill that monster. And then that makes that the wall, and oh, there we go again. And then we're one short of confirming this as the full way down. This has to be that. That is just confirmed. I don't know what's next, per se. This 2 down here confuses me, to be honest. This seems a little weird, geometrically, but I'm sure it'll all work out in the end. Oh no, what? Okay. Okay, so there has to be a wall somewhere here because this is all open, so we can't this is not blocking them off. There has to be a wall like here, for example, to stop this this guy from creeping around like that into that section there. Exactly what that entails, I don't know. So that has to be one because we can't have those 2 touch. Um, then does that forcibly entail anything? I don't think so. No, that's correct. That's correct. That has to be open, and that forces that. That has to be open. I presume. Oh, there's no way we're doing like that, right? Oh, that'd be screwed up. That's so possible, though. Yeah, because you can't. I mean, I guess you could do that, but it makes more sense. I think if it's like this, then it goes around like that. We'll we'll look at the whole puzzle first. Make sure I'm not missing anything obvious here. Yeah, because that has to be 6, so that has to go like that, and then this is all. Oh, that's devious. That's devious. That's screwed up. That's so mean. That's so mean. They make you think that top left will, relate to top left, and top right relate to like the rightmost one. But no, that's mean. That's mean. Next up, really playing into your assumptions there. Woof. None of the slimes are in danger of being bombed. It looks like, but there are 4 zones, which is a separate, more annoying nuisance. This guy cannot get this one because this one of course has a wall somewhere. So we know that this bomb has to get this guy here, which means the wall is somewhere there, which means that he's not getting him. Who will get him? I don't know. I do care, but I won't know for a while. Um, one bomb or one wall. I mean, weird. Okay, let's look at this. We know that. Hmm. Okay. There's an 8 here, which means we only need to find the one last empty space in this row to solve it. If you get you, then no, that doesn't get us anywhere. I don't think. Ugh. Hmm. This has to be a wall because the slimes can't touch. Does that do anything for us? That means we can't do this because then the slimes will touch. There has to be a wall somewhere in here, and this guy is instead getting these bottom 2, and there's a wall here because we can't have that going on here. Which feels like tremendous progress. Feels like a big thing to realize. So you have to have a wall somewhere in here to stop this bomb from hitting that guy, which means that he also gets him. That means there's a wall somewhere in here, and that means that there's a wall somewhere in here, probably 2 of them, but we just don't know yet. What's next? I don't know. Gotta be at least one wall somewhere in there. Doesn't help with the 2. 1. There has to be a wall somewhere here. No, it could be there as well, because what if we just do this and have that? Let's see. 3, 5. There's got to be a wall somewhere in there too, but that's a problem for a later time. That's a 5. That's not going to be solved anytime shortly. Though we do know this 1 is surely not getting this one, or this monster up top, because that would exceed the 5 rule. So that means if you can't get it, you have to get it, which is good to know. And that means no matter what, this one has to be gotten by this bomb, forcing us to accommodate that slime roll. This is now a part of one big slime. So then if you're, which means that you have to get that guy, the y'all are trading for this bloke in the middle. Hmm. It would be we're either going full laterals or for full what am I even saying? I feel like that makes no sense. It's either going to be a pair like that of verticals or a pair of horizontals like that. Does that help us in any way? That does, because if it's a pair of horizontals, then this 8 is no longer valid because that would end up being only 7. So it has to be the verticals. Wow, I can't believe that actually helped. Which means that there has to be the wall somewhere in here, meaning that these two are connected. Which means we do, in fact... Oh, this guy. There's no reason to think he's there. And then the 4 blocks go there. What's the last... Oh, then now this we know is all 8, which is good. There's one more in here somewhere, but who knows exactly how or when or why. These two can't touch. Let's look at slime zoning to see if we can't use that to help. Yeah, see if we can't use that to help. 3, 1. There we go. Found it. This 7 completes the row. This is all solved, which leaves us with us forced to put a 1 there. And that's all for now in that regard. But we know that these two can't touch, so there has to be a block there. What else do we know based on all that we just did? This is scary, because we can't have that connect, so there has to be a wall there for sure. It's now more lenient, but not immensely so. One of these two is the one. Let's look back at bombing rules and see if that helps at all. Not really, I don't think. I don't think there's anything that we really learned from the whole from the... Oh, well, we do for sure learn that these two can't touch, which means there has to be a wall there and a wall there. That's empty. That solves that entirely. That then this is probably all empty-ish. Basically ignore all this for now. See if we can figure out exactly where these go later on. There has to be 2 here. Has to be one here as well. We know that's open. No, we don't. We don't. We actually don't actually, because this can go down through there instead. It can be like a cubby like that if we want it to be. Hmm. I'm not sure what happens next year. Yeah, I'm not sure what happens next. Oh, what am I doing? This 8 here was solved like a million years ago. Then all of these are empty. Um. Oh, that's empty. That has to be blocked off. That has to be blocked off. That's all empty. And then we for sure need to have this blocked off. That's empty. We for sure... We have that, I think. I think that's our solution. Yep. Perfect. Last one besides our little friend over here of row 2. Hmm. We know that there has to be a wall here and a wall here so that the bomb doesn't blow through to the other guys. So we put empty air there and there. There's no way for these guys not to be that, I don't think. So that's good to know as well. Exact same truth reveals that. I don't see what the next obvious move is. We have 3 zones. 3 zones? Ooh, okay. That's interesting because these slimes are awfully close to oh man. Okay, these slimes have to be touching at least one monster. So these guys are, this one's for sure connected to these guys. This one's for sure connected to the bottom right monsters. And this one's already in the middle. So we, unless there's like some real shenanigans going on, which never doubt the game on this. We're looking at 2 big chunks and a middle chunk here. Hmm. Curious. Okay. Oh, look at that. I was wrong. Because these guys don't connect, but these 2 in the bottom left and at the top right do connect. So this guy, for example, will connect to these guys and then avoid these ones, and vice versa. This guy will like connect to that one, for example. Oh, curious. Curious, curious, curious. But that does basically mean that this one in the middle is for sure like locked to itself. Can you figure out how to block it in? If we literally just do this, does that cause any problems? We'll find out, I guess. um, that means we have to have one block there, one block there, one block there. We have to have something like that, which does force us to have air here, air here, air here, and air here. Does that help us solve it further? Not especially, at least not yet. I Hmm. Huh. Okay. We know that these can't connect, so that's where the okay. I should have known that from the beginning. We know those can't connect, so that's where the wall in these rows have to go. And then what does that get us? Oh, that means this row is solved right here because only 5 walls left, forcing us to go this way, and connect up like that, solving this row for us, which then, hmm, 3, 6. Which then what? What does it do then? It will. Oh man. I. Hmm. 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 Oh, I didn't mean to do that, but doesn't really matter. Oh, I guess we also have to have these guys blocked off there too. Actually, wait. Oh. Oh. Oops. That accident actually just gave me that wonderful insight. And then this is for sure blocked off because of the 6 rule on the side. Then these two are for sure blocked off, and that's the solution. That's the last puzzle of row 3. With that, let's go back and see if we can't solve our old friend here. That has to go there. It has to be that. All those have to be solved. It has to be this. Meanwhile, over here, no immense insights, at least not yet. We know this has to be like that. Then we know, or oops, like that. We know that if there's a wall here, it has to go up and around like that, which forces those 3 from the 7 to be the spot where it jumps up, meaning it can't be there because you can't have this make any sense. We have to have a wall here, because we can't have those two connect. What happens next? We've got to have a wall in here. We have to have a wall there because we can't have the bomb go through, which forces this to be the thing, and that has to be a wall there to stop it from connecting. Same goes like that. Same goes like that. Then these two have to be at least air. One more somewhere in there is air. We can't block off, so we know for sure it's that. Then the rest, that has to be blocked off, and the rest we'll find out in due time, I guess. Meanwhile, oh, that solves this whole row, right? Yes. Air, air. That's all empty, so that solves that for us. That's all solved for us. We'll leave those empty for now as we figure out the solution over there. This has to be there, which means that this has to be a wall. And then I guess this could be air theoretically, but I don't really think that's the solution. Oh, these have to be And this has to be, so the bomb doesn't hit the slime. That has to be that. To block off the wall has to be here or here. So that means these have to be air. Solve anything? No. That has to be something. This has to be exposed, which means that this has to be a wall. Once again, empty, empty. What exactly is next? No. Oh wait, no, that is it actually. Yeah, wow. Then one more here. Exactly where? I don't know. Oh, boom, 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 boom. That wasn't so bad. I was just doing it wrong the first time around. That's good. That's good to know. Good to know I'm just making mistakes and getting better. With that, thanks for watching. We'll begin road 3 next time. Ciao.